The last time I saw her, we were 18 years old. The next time, I was 61. She looked at me for a few seconds before saying, "You still fold your sleeves the same way." I laughed. Out of everything she could have remembered, that's what stuck with her. For a long time, I figured life only gives you one shot at falling in love. I never expected another one to show up in my Facebook inbox 43 years later. My name's David. I'm 61. I retired a little over a year ago after almost 4 decades as an electrician. I was married to my wife Carol for 35 years. She passed away after a long fight with cancer. That was 4 years ago. People ask if you ever get over something like that. You don't. You just get better at carrying it. After Carol was gone, life became smaller. Not worse, just quieter. Every morning looked about the same. Coffee before sunrise. Walk the dog around the neighborhood. Come home. Spend an hour in the garage finding little things that didn't really need fixing. Sometimes I'd organize screws into new containers just to keep my hands busy. My daughters called every week. The grandkids showed me drawings over video chat, birthdays, school plays, soccer games. Life kept moving. Mine just moved a little slower. I never thought about dating. Friends suggested it. I'd smile, change the subject. It wasn't that I believed I'd only ever love one woman. I just couldn't picture starting over at 61. Who does that? At least, that's what I kept telling myself. One Tuesday evening, I was sitting in my recliner when my laptop made a little notification sound. I almost ignored it. Turned out it was Facebook. A message request. 3 words. "Is this David?" That was it. No last name, no explanation. I clicked the profile. The woman in the picture looked familiar. Older, gray hair, reading glasses, lines around her eyes. Still, there was something about her smile. I leaned closer to the screen. Then I saw the name. Susan Mitchell. I hadn't seen those 2 words together since high school. I just sat there. The dog rested his head on my knee. The coffee beside me had gone cold. I must have stared at that message for 10 minutes before I typed anything. Finally, I wrote, "It is." A few seconds later, the little typing bubble appeared. "I wasn't sure you'd remember me." I smiled. "I don't think I ever forgot you." Then I leaned back in my chair, surprised I'd actually written it. Susan was my first real girlfriend. We started dating our junior year. Back then, I honestly believed we'd end up married. We went to football games, shared milkshakes after school, spent summer evenings sitting on the hood of my father's pickup truck, watching airplanes disappear into the distance. Everything feels permanent when you're 18, until it isn't. She left for college in Ohio. I stayed in Indiana and started an apprenticeship. We wrote letters, at first every week, then every month. Eventually, life got busy. The letters got shorter, then they stopped altogether. There wasn't another man, there wasn't another woman. No fight, no dramatic goodbye. Just 2 young people finding out that distance sometimes wins without asking permission. That night, after Susan's message, I walked out to the garage. On the highest shelf was an old cardboard box. Carol used to joke that I never threw anything away. She wasn't wrong. Inside were ticket stubs, a baseball program, my senior yearbook. Near the bottom was a faded Polaroid. 2 teenagers sitting on the hood of a pickup truck. Susan had her knees pulled up against her chest. I had my arm around her shoulders. Neither of us was looking at the camera. We were laughing at something neither of us would remember today. I found myself smiling anyway. Not because I wanted to go back. Just because I'd forgotten that version of myself had ever existed. For the next week, Susan and I traded a few messages every evening. Nothing dramatic. We talked about ordinary things. where we lived, our kids, retirement, the weather. She sent me a picture of the golden retriever she'd rescued a few years earlier. I sent one of my old Labrador stretched out on the living room rug. It felt easy, comfortable, like picking up a conversation that had only paused for the weekend instead of 43 years. One evening she wrote, "I'll be in your town next Saturday." A minute later, another message appeared. "If you're comfortable, would you like to have coffee?" I stared at the screen longer than I'd like to admit. Then I typed, "I'd like that." Saturday morning, I changed my shirt twice. Then I laughed at myself. I hadn't been nervous about meeting a woman since Ronald Reagan was president. I got to the coffee shop 15 minutes early. Old habits. I found a table near the window, ordered black coffee, checked my watch 3 times. When the door opened, I knew it was her before I looked up. Some people just move the same way they always have. She spotted me, smiled, walked over. For a second, neither of us seemed sure whether to hug or shake hands. We settled on an awkward half hug. Then she left. "So, we're old," I smiled. "Speak for yourself." She rolled her eyes, still blaming everything on somebody else. Some things really hadn't changed. The first 20 minutes disappeared before either of us noticed. We talked about high school teachers, friends we'd lost touch with, the little diner where we'd spent too much money on fries and milkshakes. Every memory reminded us of another one. It was surprisingly easy. Then the conversation slowed down. Susan wrapped both hands around her coffee mug. "So, tell me about Carol." I looked down for a second. She was wonderful. I was lucky. Susan nodded. "I'm sorry." "So am I." Neither of us rushed to fill the silence. I asked about her life. She'd been married too. Her husband had passed away 6 years earlier after a heart attack. They'd raised 2 boys. She still lived in the same town where they'd settled after college. She smiled as she talked about her grandchildren. Then her smile faded. "It's strange." "What is?" "You spend years taking care of somebody. Then one day, nobody needs you to ask if they remember their medication." I knew exactly what she meant. I nodded. "You still wake up thinking they're in the next room." She looked at me. "You too?" "Sometimes." Neither of us said anything after that. We didn't have to. When we finally walked outside, the parking lot was almost empty. We stood beside our cars. Neither one of us seemed in much of a hurry to leave. Susan looked down at the pavement. "You know, I almost wrote to you after college." I looked at her. "What happened?" She smiled, a small, tired smile. "I heard you got married, so I figured you'd found your life, and I didn't want to interrupt it." I felt something tighten in my chest. "I almost wrote to you too." She looked surprised. "You did?" I nodded. "After Carol and I got engaged, I found one of your old letters. I thought about seeing how you were." "What stopped you?" I shrugged. "I hoped you were happy." So I left it alone. We stood there in silence. 43 years, 2 different lives, changed by 2 people who'd made the exact same call. Neither of us wanted to mess with what we figured the other person had found. Funny how trying to do the right thing can still change your whole life. Over the next few months, we settled into a rhythm. Breakfast every other Saturday. A walk through the farmer's market if the weather was nice. Sometimes we drive out to a small lake just to sit on a bench and watch people fishing. Nothing about it felt rushed. At our age, there wasn't much point pretending to be someone else. We talked about our children, our aches and pains, the books we never finished, the songs we still remembered by heart. Some afternoons, we'd sit for 20 minutes without saying much at all. Strangely enough, those were some of my favorite conversations. One Sunday, my oldest daughter, Megan, came over for lunch. We grilled hamburgers in the backyard. Halfway through the meal, she looked at me and smiled. "So, how's Susan?" I almost dropped my fork. "You knew?" She laughed. "Dad, you've been smiling at your phone. I figured somebody deserved the credit. I shook my head. I wasn't hiding it. No, you were protecting it. That surprised me. Maybe she was right. After lunch, we carried our plates into the kitchen. While the water ran in the sink, I finally asked, "Does it bother you?" She turned around. "What?" "That I'm seeing someone." She didn't answer right away. She dried her hands on a towel. Then she walked over and leaned against the counter. "I've actually been waiting for you to tell me." "I wasn't sure how you'd feel." She smiled. "Dad, you loved Mom." "I know. You always will." "I know." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "But loving Mom doesn't mean your life had to end when hers did." I looked away for a second. I guess part of me felt guilty. "I know." "So do we. We didn't know if we were supposed to encourage you." I let out a quiet laugh. "We've all been waiting on each other. Looks that way." A week later, I told Susan about that conversation. She smiled into her coffee cup. "What?" I had almost the same talk with my oldest son. "What did he say?" "He said," she laughed, "Mom, you've spent enough birthdays alone." I smiled. Smart kid. He gets it from his father. There was no awkwardness when we talked about the people we'd lost. Carol wasn't a secret. Neither was her husband, Tom. We didn't pretend those years hadn't happened. They mattered. They'd shaped both of us. If anything, being honest about the past made whatever we were building feel more real. One Saturday in early fall, Susan suggested we take a drive. "I want to show you something." She led the way in her car. About 40 minutes later, we pulled into the parking lot of our old high school. Most of it had been renovated. The brick looked newer, the gym was bigger, the parking lot seemed smaller. Funny how places shrink after 40 years. We walked across the football field. Kids in oversized helmets were warming up for a youth game. Parents filled the bleachers with folding chairs and coffee cups. Susan looked around and laughed. "Weren't we taller?" I smiled. "No. We just thought we had forever," she nodded. "Yeah, we did." We sat together for the first quarter. Neither of us paid much attention to the score. The afternoon sun was warm. A little boy dropped his helmet and chased it across the field. His father ran after him, both of them laughing. Susan rested her hands in her lap. "I almost didn't send that message." I looked over. "I'm glad you did." "So am I." Before we left, I reached into my wallet. The old Polaroid was still there. The edges were worn now. The colors had almost faded out. Susan smiled when she saw it. "You kept that?" "I guess I did." Earlier that morning, one of the parents had snapped a picture of us sitting in the bleachers together and offered to text it to me. I'd printed it the night before. I set the new photo next to the old Polaroid. 43 years apart. The faces had changed. The smiles hadn't. I slipped them both back into my wallet. This time, side by side. For years, I believed life only gives you one great love. Looking back, I think life just wasn't finished with me yet.